But all right, getting back to Last of Us, we had the whole episode starts off with a flashback, a far flashback with Joel and Tommy. Joel talking to Tommy about he's like, oh, he's gonna get me the belt, and Joel saying, no, I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you, taking care of it. And you see the fear in his eyes as his dad walks in. We find out his father is a police officer. Pulling up to the house, comes in, gets a drink. Say, I gotta be back on shift in half an hour as he's drinking his alcohol and beer. And Joel is afraid, trying to take all the responsibility for what happened. And his dad already knew. No, it was probably Tommy that did all this stuff. Trying to smoke, trying to buy weed. And you probably walked by seeing it, and you took over for Tommy. And we know that I noticed what you did. The whole scene in itself really comes to a culmination where his dad talks about his father. My father just beat me all the time. Basically he says, I did something wrong. He'll pretend like it was okay. Then I get home and he'll beat me senseless. And
say broke his jaw or something like that, right?
Something like that.
Dislocated or broke his jaw.
Yeah.
And he says, I know I hit you guys way too much. But I'm not as bad as my dad. And then he says, and hopefully one day you'll do better than me. And that was the whole point of this entire first scene. What do you guys think about that?
I thought it was well done, and the best part about it is that what had a call back to the end. You know what I mean? So we got to get a little bit of Joel as a kid and what he went through, and then progression of stuff. So I thought it was a good scene. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely set the tone for the rest of the episode. Joel kind of learning that lesson as a kid, or kind of revisiting it as an adult. So I liked how they did that. It actually tied into the greater narrative.
Yeah. I thought it was good too. Also, like Tony Dalton was the dad, from Hawkeye. He was in what's the other HBO show? Better Call Saul. I know.
That's the only thing I thought was Hawkeye and Better Call Saul.
Yeah. So yeah.
What was he in Hawkeye? The swordsman?
Yeah, swordsman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, he I think he did a good job at being the dad, and the whole emotional trauma, and physical trauma too, there was pretty good. But him being a cop, I thought was important too. I think a lot of people for that, it's like, this leader being in charge, kind of, sheriff type of stuff, kind of runs in their family between the two of them. So,
yeah.
I got something to say about that. So the whole thing I thought was generational trauma and nature versus nurture. That's the whole thing that I thought of. So generational trauma, the beating, and then trying to you want to give your kids the good parts of you and take some of the bad stuff that your parents put on you away from them. And that's what we saw, right? But then nature versus nurture, because no matter where you are, this family is always put in a point of leadership. Good, bad, or indifferent. They might not be the best people ever, but they're always in that point. So I just felt like no matter what was going to happen in that world, everything broke down, and Joel still comes in as a leader. But with that leader comes all these bad decisions, still the anger, still the violence. That's the generational trauma. Follows you. And I thought that was well done, because there's so many different levels. And a lot of times we don't want to identify generational trauma. And even the whole drinking alcohol is your father who's angry. I slapped you a lot. I hit you a lot. Whatever. He did it under the guise of alcohol too. So like there's just a lot of layers there. I thought that they did a very good job.
Yeah.
So we get that. We get into the whole opening scene. after that cuts away, because obviously this is what the whole point of this entire thing is going to be. Then we get what's the guy's name? The guy who attacked Ellie.
Seth.
Seth. So Seth, we get to the Seth with Joel coming in saying, "Hey, I'm gonna trade you for something." Finding out, just basically going through, seeing that Joel is trying to do something special for Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was hilarious because I thought Tank exactly when I saw this, when he traded him like Legos and like
No.
I was like, you traded the Legos to get what you trying to get. Oh, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But finding out that Seth was also a police officer in the time before. But I'm just saying, once again, seeing nature versus nurture and all those things, and he's now becoming a bartender. All that, I think it still tells a story, and I thought that it was so very well done. And even the fact that they obviously filmed these scenes a long time ago. So they had the forethought to say, we need to film this now when season 1 was going on. Then, later, now we're here now. So I enjoyed that part.
Yeah.
This was her 15th birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. It started at 15.
It's her 15th birthday. So he comes in, wakes her up. He actually. So do you guys remember what he got from Seth?
Yeah, he got was it a bone?
Femur.
Oh yeah, a bone.
The femur,
yeah.
So he put together that guitar.
For the guitar. Yeah.
He streamed it. He drummed it. Put her little tattoo of the moth there, and he put the bone in. Like, he redid everything. I thought that was such a father thing to do. Put his time in to do that. I thought that was awesome. Even just seeing him go through all the process of everything, because you're doing it because that's how much you love your kids. And that really solidified that Ellie is his kid, and she says it even in the episode a lot. Even when they're riding together, and she says, "Hey, I'm not your kid, I'm your partner." But she wasn't saying I'm not your kid. She's saying I'm not your kid right now.
Yeah, in this moment.
So,
but it had that double meaning though.
But I think that seeing this whole episode made me feel like she knows that she is his kid, basically.
Yeah, because why else would you say that?
Exactly.
Like, stop, don't think of me as your kid. Yeah.
But I'm your partner right now at this point.
Yeah.
You have to lean on me. I have to lean on you. Tommy brings Ellie in. She has this bandage on her arm. She burned herself. Dude, when I first thought that, I was like, did she burn herself on her arm because to hide the bites?
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Did she burn herself intentionally? Because that's when he says, "Hey, about the burn later, I understand." I think she did it intentionally.
I didn't even think about that, but that makes 100% like sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, the concern on his face and all that stuff, and I'm telling you guys, if you don't have girls, you're lucky, because the love and compassion and everything that you have to have for a girl, and they have you no matter what, like this around their finger, because they're your babies.
Yeah.
So. So now I want to ask a question at this point. What did you guys think about the idea that she's obsessed with moths at this young age?
That's a good question.
I didn't even think about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I think I only thought about it kind of briefly and then just kind of moved on. Didn't really make a decision. Didn't form any.
I mean, I thought it was like very like emo kid kind of stage she's in right now, but then obviously has the symbolism behind it. But yeah.
The first thing I thought was Mothman prophecies and what it symbolizes, and watching that movie, and a moth can signify this, you're marked for death and stuff like that. So that's like the first thing I thought of, and then to hear it later on in the episode, I thought that was awesome, because once again, another detail that you don't really think about.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tony says at the end of the show, a portal will open up and cast a From will walk through. Mama Bear says, so mushroom zombies.
Pretty much.
What it is.
Yeah.
Said Joel's dad is Lalo Salamanca. Is that what's Salamanca? I don't know.
Yeah, that's close enough.
I thought Joel's father was going to slap him right there or something.
I thought the same thing.
50 says emotional damage, but what he really means to say is
emotional damage.
Yes, Seth. He was also a priest in the fireman on Rescue Me.
Yeah. Well, the bartender dude.
Yeah.
I love Rescue Me.
I ain't hurt your kid, man. I'm your bro, dog. Oh man, she totally did. She kept saying that she wanted to wear short sleeves again, that she didn't want to be stressing someone seeing it. So that's exactly why she burnt herself. And that's also the same reason. So now it's funny because they showed that, right? It's also the same reason she got the tattoo.
Yeah.
Which is different ways of doing it. This is age 15, then 16, then 17. Once again, this is what they did. This linear progression of ages, and seeing how they got to the point where they were where we saw them at the beginning of this episode, beginning of the season. Delta Dan says she for sure burned herself to hide the bites. She's obsessed with death. That's what Fernando says. What's up, Fernando?
What's up? Also, Fernando, I need your address.
Did he win?
Yes, he won one of the Funkos. The only one that gave me was Ace. Ace is the only one that gave me their address. So
I'm coming to your job tomorrow, by the way. So you know.
Okay. I'll be there. Just email us there.
Awesome. Right there, guys. So email us and let us know your address so we can send this stuff off.
Yeah, Ace. Oh no, Ace got it. Fernando and Kevin. I need both of your addresses so I can send stuff out.
So my daughter's changed life for sure. Yeah, for real, Brian. I'm telling you that this is it. Girls are the worst because they love you. You love them so much. There's nothing they can even do. You would literally, like, I think Chris Rock says it perfectly. You will die for your son. You will kill for your daughter. That's the difference. So I wish all dads shared your opinion, Brian. They should. Fernando says, I think the moth means that she was obsessed with death. Yes, 100%. It's a traumatic distress. She totally burned herself on purpose. Yes, 100%. Tony says, Ellie will be emo golf next season. Emo golf dad-ish. I'm going to have a baby. The chemical burns didn't work out, so she's thinking the tattoo would draw from it. Draw attention from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
could be. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a big ass tattoo too. It's not like this a little like thing, it's like, hey, half of my arm. Go. So yeah.
I'm so glad my daughter is nothing like Ellie. So gotta say I love all my sons, Spoiler Kings included. That means you old as crap.
Yeah, if that's the case.
So you need my email or mailing address. Mailing address.
Yeah, mailing address. So we can send you a prize. Prize you won.
Awesome.
You guys still have my address, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You're good. Yeah. I got your address. So
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
First one way or another. If anything happens here and I end up coming to Montreal, you can hear a knock at your door.
Then I'll have someone answer the door and say he don't live here no more.
I see him in the background. What are you just talking about?
He's screaming through the window.
Exactly. He's like,
live on the third floor. You can't be looking in the windows over here, brother.
That's it. If Dina had a boy who would teach him how to shave, Jesse or Ellie. Oh my god.
we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
Tyler says, no, there's no Mr. Superman here. Dan says, I guess I didn't win anything, I guess.
No, sorry. We'll do some more giveaways. We always do some giveaways.
Who won the popcorn? Not the popcorn, the Wolverine.
Brandon Davis.
BD won? Oh, that's
yeah. Awesome. I was like, Brian was there, but I don't think you remember.
Brian wasn't there.
Yeah, he
was
there, but he wasn't there.
All right. So we get to the point where he has a cake that says "Happy Birthday, Eli." And he wants to get a knife to cut it up, and he turns back around, and Ellie is already eating it with her hand. He said, "Oh, it's real good." It's just like a little girl, and she was obviously a little girl. And I thought that was pretty, awesome that they did this so early.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that they kind of played around with that. Had her acting her age, or we're younger than her age, but the bottom line is being a kid. In spite of everything that's kind of going on in this state of the world that it takes place in. So it's refreshing to see that.
And him making her be a kid. Mm-hmm. Forcing that onto her. And I think that's the first time in her life that she really had that opportunity to be a kid. Mm-hmm. Even though she doesn't like it, but that's what kids are. Mm-hmm. So later in the episode, he gives her a gift. Her gift, it was the guitar. He plays a song for her and sings to her, and she looks at him like he is the number one Superman, like a superhero. Mm-hmm. Like he is everything she ever wanted to be. And you can see that, that father-daughter love, that the daughter has fallen in love with her father has happened during that singing season scene. I thought that was really awesome. And even better that Bella taught him how to play the guitar so he could teach her during the show. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, that was a beautiful guitar. If you make someone a guitar like that looks that good, that's awesome. But yeah, so that was that 15th birthday. Then they go 1 year later to their 16th birthday. Which to me is the greatest gift I've ever seen anyone ever give anyone, period. Hands down. No one should ever forget. They're walking through the creek, walking somewhere, taking hours. She's like, what's taking so long, Joe? Why are we going? What the hell is happening? And he kind of goes through this clearing and he turns and he says, oh, he asked her about Jesse. He's like, yeah, you spend a lot of time with Jesse. Is there something going on between you two? I have a sixth sense about these things. And she's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
And the fact that he never thought about that after she said that just made me chuckle. Mm-hmm. But then he tells her to go ahead and go in front. He goes through this clearing and sees an actual motherfucking dinosaur. Like literally a dinosaur. She's like, a dinosaur? That's how I would act now. If my dad would lead me through the woods and take me to a dinosaur, I'm like, a dinosaur. Dude, I was so doing the Flintstones and trying to ride down the tail. Happening.
That'd be fun.
But what you guys think about this entire scene?
I thought he did an amazing job as a father. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the things that she would have never experienced, he gave her those experience. Then he topped it all off with the tape. You know, made her think that she was actually going to space. Yeah, it was well done.
Yeah.
I think a job as a father a lot of time is to fan the wonder, fan the intrigue in the world for the child, right? And I don't think I've ever seen a better display than what we saw with the dinosaur and going to the museum and letting her take her own helmet and then getting inside a capsule that went into outer space.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. It just hits so much, like how much he loves her. You know, like he went and scoped this place out. You know, greased up. You know, the gear for the planet thing. You know, like he got it ready. You know, so it was like, and then had everything perfect for when she came. You know, it was just like, yeah.
Dude, that's some boss dad stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even she had the planets moving. Like he did everything to push her love for astronauts, to push her love for her intrigue for outer space, and just to be a child for a little bit. That's great. So yeah, as I kind of jumped ahead, and she gets, he shows her the actual capsule that went out of space. Was it Apollo 11? I think it was that he showed her. Let her get inside. Because kids always want to touch it. They see it, they want to touch it. He said, "Go ahead and open the motherfucker. Go ahead." Wait. How you going to outer space without a helmet? And had her break open the glass and take the actual helmet that actually went out of space. Man, I would lose my damn mind.
Right?
Not if I'm 16 years old, I will lose my damn mind. Oh man, that was just. I feel like this entire scene really just showed how much he tried to be a good father.
Yeah, absolutely.
And once again, Ramsey did another amazing job. Her acting was just her wonder. You saw it in her face.
Oh yeah.
So that was her 16th birthday. You see her getting older. Which, man, once again, the tape thing. First of all, why did they have cassette tape Walkmans?
Yeah.
Can someone explain that to me?
Yeah. That was weird.
We doing 8-track too? I mean, what's happening? So there's no such thing as DVDs in or CDs in there. I mean, I grew up on CDs, right? I mean, it was tape until I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And it was CDs.
Yeah.
Imagine in this world, the real world, it's hard to find a Walkman, you know, like, or a cassette player in general. You know, I mean, trust me, I look at when I go to the thrift stores, they are hard to find. And you expect me like they just got them laying around in a post-apocalyptic world? Like, okay.
Like, all right, man.
I did get one off of Amazon though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You want to go buy one? I'm gonna find one now. I'm gonna go buy one. I loved the fact that they get that deleted. That they showed her like actually taking off and seeing her pretending like she was literally, you know, taking off and being in the spaceship.
Weird.
It was so well, like her imagination was taking over, and I thought that was just so well done.
Agreed.
And then how he was looking at her and almost crying because of seeing her do that.
Oh yeah, he was crying. You see the tears come down his eyes, and that's one thing that I really liked about this episode is that you really got to see their connection. You know what I mean? And it was done really well.
All right, so he did all that. He did an amazing job, and they're walking back. And as they walk, Ellie starts staring at something, and Joel calls her, "Hey, what's going on?" And she just stopped and was staring and wondering what the hell she's staring at. And you see is a little bunch of fireflies right there. And that's what she was staring at, because once again, it never left her mind. She's always wondering what the hell's happening with that. Okay. Fast forward one more year later, he has a cake that she says Ellie the right time. Happy 17th birthday, Ellie. He's going to go surprise her. And he knocks on the door and walks in, and Ellie getting it down. She getting in with this other girl and getting a tattoo. And that it's funny how all that changed so fast in 1 year. Went from that to already doing it.
Yeah. Even he says that, he goes, "Oh, that's it, just everything all at once." Tattoos and drugs and experimenting and stuff.
Which is usually how it goes.
All at once.
Don't tell me that, man. I'm not ready.
Oh, you don't worry. You got 2, so good luck.
Oh man, my 8-year-old like 16 right now. Oh man. My question is, why would she show her the tattoo, knowing that they might see a bite? She didn't think about that.
I mean, or was it burned at that point? Right?
It was burned, but was it not visible? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking it wasn't visible at that time because of the burn, right? Because that's the reason why she burned herself, right? Was to try and make it visible. And maybe she didn't like the burn mark and wanted to get the tattoo over it. So yeah, I kind of feel like it was kind of hard to tell. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yep. But later that day, Ellie starts looking at the garage, trying to map out a space that's her own space. Then she comes at Joel. He hears her moving her mattress in the middle of a flash flood. I don't know what the hell she's doing. I'm moving out right now. And he's like, "What the hell, in the middle of the night? What the hell's wrong with you?"
You know?
Yeah. Into the garage with no electricity, no nothing.
And he tried to give her that line, that father line. "You're in my house. You live by my rules." She's like, "This is not even your house, bro. This is our house, and they gave it to you. Like, you didn't pay a mortgage."
Yeah, that was rough.
I hated that. I was like, "Crap." She figured us out, guys. She figured us out.
Oh no! I'd be like, I don't care if they gave it to me or what, they gave it to me. My house. I'm the adult. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's also like he doesn't do anything, you know. It's very much like, "Oh, you didn't earn it." And he's like, "What the fuck do I do all day? What do you think I do all day?" You know, it's like, what do you mean, you know, it's just they just gave it to me. It's like, I'm a productive, you know, member of society. What are you? You know? You know, but it's very much like, you know, like kid logic.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And he said, "Okay, let me fix it up for you." She was like, "Okay, well, I'm sorry that, you know, I got caught with a girl and I got a tattoo. And you caught me making out with her and all that other stuff and doing all this and smoking weed all at the same time." Like, the way she said it was still so childlike, right? You know, and that you just is kind of added to the entire story. I thought that was just funny. And then she said, "Except."
Yeah.
Not. And Joel's taking back. He was like, "Oh, I was saying, fuck you did too, kid."
As he walks, you just hear like 15 locks on the door. Oh, okay.
But he actually says, "No, give me a few days. I will fix it up for you, so it'll be at least habitable for you." Remember, he built houses, so he could do that.
Yeah.
You know, puts her mattress back, and this is the beginning of the end. I felt it as a father. I felt the beginning of the end.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid teenage hormones. Mama Bear says probably why Kala doesn't show his face. He don't need to show his face anymore. So Brian's thought he might be able to see into the second floor window. Gotcha. Come and get you, Anzo. Mama Bear says, hey, older doesn't bother me. Mama Bear, he is tall. He's probably sitting on the floor right now.
Yeah, probably.
I wouldn't be able to sit for 3 hours, guys. Just to let you know. They have a dugout for him from the sit at his desk. You guys, so if you didn't see the video of everything, I posted my video of my office space for everything. I saw a few guys looked at it. It's for all the members only to check it out. Kind of went through some of my stuff quickly. If you have anyone wants me to go through anything specifically, just let me know and I'll show it all. I just have a lot of stuff. I have layers and layers of stuff. So like I need to go through some of this stuff one day.
Yeah, clean up that room, man.
Clean-ish.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad for being a basement.
Oh man, you know how much stuff I got in there. This is awesome.
I don't want to spoil it, but Ashley's she's the greatest like commentator director in the background, like talking about everything. Like,
so when you get this?
Like what? He's like, I got this. She goes, oh, damn, what?
When did you get this? She's like, how much you spend on that? Huh? What?
Yeah. Oh, this is that. Move on. Yeah, it was a good video.
It was a good video. It was a lot of fun, guys. So check that out if you get a chance. So Death Dan says Pedro killed this episode. I'm going to miss him on the show. I agree. Yep. The scene is directly from the game, and it was amazing. She actually jumped off the head of the dinosaur in the game into water. And said, yeah, Pedro was killing this episode 100%. Dan said, don't forget he got the cassette mixtape. Yeah. You know how hard it is to do that without having a radio to play? Like, you're not taping it, you're not recording off the radio. Like, you had to go find the stuff. The dinosaur was a really cool gift. Dr. Dan says CDs get scratched in the apocalypse. That makes sense.
Then used as a ninja star.
Exactly. It's frisbee. So they do Walkmans because it's hard carrying around record players. Dr. Dan says he's not ready for this either, Brian. Yeah, I'm not. Oh my God. And my baby's gonna have all of it, and they're gonna do it, and they're gonna look at me in the eye, right? Because you know what? They're not afraid of me, and that's the problem. I was too good of a dad. I give them everything. They look at me and they say he's just a freaking teddy bear. Everyone else sees me and thinks I'm a grizzly bear. They just look at me and say I'm like a teddy bear on their bed, and I can't even get out them. Mama Bear says tattoos, drugs, experimenting. Sounds like college. You're not wrong. So disc rot in the apocalypse. Ellie was just showing her how many buttons she had on her shirt. Exactly. 1, 2. And she was zipping up her pants too. I was like, why? Okay. I see. Are there still real estate agents in the apocalypse?
It's an excellent question.
There's just a mayor that says, yeah, you can live here. That's it. And for the small fee of killing all the zombies, you can live right here. Said Mushroom real estate agents, maybe. Pops, I'm moving into the garage. Get it ready. Chop, chop. Exactly. That wouldn't work for a boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would that work for you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Would that work for you? Like you tell your dad, "Hey, I want to move to the garage. Can you get it ready for me? Go ahead, hurry up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting."
My
garage?
rebellious 16-year-old self would do something like that.
And what would your dad say?
Do it yourself.
Either do it yourself, get your ass back in your room.
Really?
Would be one.
So you plan on living under the car, or like it was like where? Because the car ain't moving.
Yeah,
the car's staying in the garage.
My dad would have told me, "Did I tell you to start talking?
Mm-hmm.
Sit your ass back down. What the hell you think you're doing? You on timeout? Let me get this belt. 17 years old, I'm gonna give you this belt."
For real.
Mama Bear says, "I did see the video. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys checked it out. I'll definitely like to see all your movies you have, Brian. I have a lot. I will bring them all out, and we could just kind of go through all of them. I have a lot of steel books, a lot of DVDs. So yeah,
you don't have them in like scanned or anything?
I should. I have the app with everything else. Just
well,
like
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you have the same app, the CO.
Yeah, I've never scanned them all, but I can scan them all because I'll just sit here and knock them out. But I have lots and lots because I have a lot of steel books. I probably have, I'm gonna guess like 50 or 55 steel books.
I need to see because I have mine all scanned. I need to see if there's a way I can share the list.
And that'd be good if we could both put our list on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Say hell no. Gonna do that. But they even at the end of the episode, when you're doing all that stuff, Joel does soften up. He says, "Let me see the tattoo," and sees it and sees the moth and sees where she did it. And you guys are right. You can see the bite, but you also can see the burn.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Did it hurt when she was doing it?" She was like, "Yeah, it hurt kind of, but it kind of felt good." And that's when you're dealing with a real teenager that's turned into an adult, and that's always a problem.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I said about my shoulder one. I told my dad. He was like, "Who the hell gave you money for that?" I was like, "I'm a football player, Dad. I can do it for free."
Right.
But then this is the episode that he asked Ellie, "Why moths?" And she says it's symbolic for something. And then he says, "Oh, like change, like change and metamorphosis and stuff." And she's like, "Yeah, sure." Because that was such a bad thing. But he realized that something's not right with it, so he goes back and he asks the doctor again about it. And she's like, well, it's funny because she was reading a book called Earth Abides.
Yeah.
And that's a TV show that I watched, Earth Abides, which is about another apocalyptic time period where he thinks that he's the only one alive, and he ends up finding another woman, and he ends up marrying her, and then he builds this community in California just by people that have been walking by. He learned how to do electricity and water and all their journey through doing it. Just a different apocalyptic genre type of show and book. So I thought Earth Abides was a good little nugget that you saw in this episode. And by the way, Collector, that's a very good book. Very good book. You'll probably enjoy it. But he asked her about the moths, and she said, "Oh, it's probably symbolic." And he said, "Well, what's the symbol of that?" She was like, "Well, honestly, some quacks talk about that stuff. I don't really think about it, but it would symbolize death." And then he starts to put it all together. Why she's doing what she's doing. And the next thing we see is Ellie packing up to go into the garage, getting all her albums and all that stuff. Where did she find all that crap? That's a lot. She hasn't been on patrol yet. So where did she get any of that?
Good question.
It's got to be from Joel, right? Like it's got to be Joel's stuff.
I mean, he's giving her things that her flicking off people and Nirvana and all that other stuff. Smells like Teen Spirit.
It could be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, if he's around a certain age, he'll be what around when that came out. It'll be
20,
18 to 20 something.
Probably 25. Because what's it like 93? Then he was 28 or something like that.
Yeah.
For him to be 65 right around now.
Mm-hmm.
But even when she's doing all that stuff and she's moving out, you see all the pictures of the boss. So obviously, how I think the symbolism was that she's thinking about death more and more and more as she gets older.
Mm-hmm. I mean, also it makes sense for she's covering up a zombie bite. The zombies are just like walking death, so and she's kind of immune to it.
So what exactly would you say the moths signify?
For me, I think it was the growing feeling in her mind that talking about the fireflies growing more and more, and the death all signified around it, because what she saw was all of them dead. And you think it's raiders because we told it was raiders. But I think that growing thought process is growing in her mind the older she's getting. And that's why the next scene you see 2 years later, her being in the garage, and she's practicing what she'll say to Joel about figuring out what the truth is about that that night.
Yeah.
All right. So as I said, she's kind of practicing what she's saying to Joel. She wrote it all down. Just want to know the truth. You want to know the dozens of things going on. And then, of course, Joel comes to the door. She's like, "Oh, you already dressed. What's going on?" And she's like, "Yeah, I was just waiting. I had trouble sleeping." He's like, "Oh, it's time to go. Where are you going to go?" "We're going on patrol." So it's the first time she gets to go on patrol. So you're 19 years old now. Giving us a time frame of when this is happening compared to whatever had happened before. And she's like, "All right, go to him and get my stuff." And he said, "Bro, make sure you get your gun." So they're in patrol. Joel's doing the father thing, still trying to, kind of spoon feed her this stuff because, like, "Hey, look out for binoculars." She's like, "It's on a trail that we already know. Make sure you still look over there. Look, let's pretend like it's over here." Stuff. And that's not going to work for a 19-year-old. And it was obvious that was happening. They're kind of going through. It's obviously something that's bothering Ellie, but she's not saying anything because she still has this huge respect for Joel and as a father. And then he gets a call, and the town says Eugene needs backup. I think Eugene and Adam need backup over by Cache Creek. And he tells Ellie, "Hey, you go." And she says, No, I'm here with you. I'm on patrol." And said, don't give me that daughter crap. I'm not your daughter, Joel. Right now, I'm your partner. So, which we talked about earlier, we kind of talked about that symbolism for all that. And they race off. They get to where they're supposed to be. They have to crawl down. They have to leave the horses. They get to where Eugene is, and Eugene is covered in blood. Ellie looks unbelievably scared. It's the first time really dealing with this stuff in a long time. And Eugene's sitting there. He's like, "Stay there. Stay there." And Joel asks, "Have you been bit?" And he says, "Yeah." And he shows him the bite on his ribs. And this is the beginning of a huge
right.
point. Yeah, this thing is a lot. What do you guys think about this point of the show?
Surprised to see Joel Pantoliano.
Yeah. Another surprise like actor in this episode.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a minute, so that was cool. I like I said, this episode kind of with the minimal interaction we've had between Joel and Ellie this season. I like that this kind of filled in the blanks. It, kind of bridged the gap between seasons. It kind of strengthened the foundation of the relationship between Joel and Ellie. And I'm happy that they did it at this point afterwards. I think that if they were going to explore that, this is the right time to do it. And I just and watching Bella Ramsey work and Pedro Pascal work and interact with each other just really makes it all worth it for me.
Yeah, I like the because right now, Ellie's getting older, right? And Joel's still treating her like a little kid. She's like 19 now, and he really like go back, and she's like, "No, I'm not your kid right now. I'm your partner." I really enjoyed that because to me, she wasn't saying I'm not your kid. It's just I'm not at this moment, So we're gonna do this together. Plus, you're trying to teach me how to go on patrol, and then when things pop off, you want me to go back. You know what I mean? Like, what is that? So I enjoyed that scene, but you could tell that this was going to be the beginning of why her anger towards him was coming up, So that was great.
Yeah. Because like kind of what Berman was saying was like it's building up like, oh, they're in this relationship, and it's father daughter, and he loves her, she loves him, and everything, and then you start to see the cracks in the foundation kind of thing, like you start to see her growing up, and then this is the the reminder for her of like the thing that's always in the back of her mind, but you kind of push it back there, and now it's starting to come forward again, and you're like, oh shit, like okay, like because for her again, very childish, when it comes to like the truth, and the importance of it, but also things that people need to hear rather than what rather than
sugarcoating it.
And then also understanding the difference of that in a post-apocalyptic, you don't want to.
What's best for the person? Is it the truth? And it could be the truth, or could it be a massaged version of what really happened? You know what I mean? To make everyone happy.
It's not going to turn our doctor into an alcoholic.
Yeah. I mean, she seemed already kind of like an asshole. Like,
she's the asshole already.
Already. So she goes, am I working right now? I was like, what? Yes.
I mean, her name might as well have been Karen, so that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But
and one thing I like, I think we kind of brushed over, is you could see because she's in her room and she's reading her little paper of the questions that she started to question about what happened with Joel, right? So you could see that it was about to hit the fan.
Yeah,
I don't know if she started to question. I think she's always questioned, but she's finally gotten to a point where she's brave enough.
Yeah, I got fed up enough to just.
Which is a huge thing.
Yeah.
So we find out that Eugene has been bit. Joel's like, all right, I guess I gotta shoot you in the face right now. And Ellie's like, no, has him hold his hand out, count to 10. He's like, he has a lot of time. He's like, fuck. All right, why don't you go get these horses and ride back down, and then we'll take them, closer to town. While she's gone, he's walking them towards the lake. At some point, it was a two-way street, and crossroad road, and he said either go left or right. And he told him to go right, so he can see this beautiful scene before he has to do what he has to do. Does anyone have a problem with what Joel did at all?
Not really.
No.
I think I said this before. You can't risk taking him back there because, and I'm not sure how much they know about the spores or the virus or whatever, but it's a hive mind. So you take that thing back to the town and it changes, then now they know where the town is, you know, and you're getting attacked way earlier than what happened. So you made the right choice.
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of being an adult is sometimes making the unpleasant, the hard choices. You know? And I'm sure, like he Joe doesn't seem like the kind of person that would just unprovoked, like, shit, I gotta kill you now, you know, and shoot him in the face. You know, it's like, you know, it seemed like he didn't want to do it. You know, Pedro Pascal did a good job at like, oh fuck, I don't want to do this. You know, but for the greater good,
I have to.
Is what I gotta do. You know,
which is funny because what he did with Ellie was the exact opposite of the greater good. It was what for his good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, B? What you think? Your thoughts?
Just with the episode as a whole, overall, or just
just that scene, the fact that with we saw with Eugene and him, did he make the right call, killing Eugene, or she brought Eugene back to the town, let him see his wife, and let her talk to him one last time?
You know, I think Joel was trying to look at the big picture in terms of not doing it. And plus, you know, I think he's still kind of emotionally grappling with what he had to do in order to save Ellie at the end of last season. So maybe that may have played a part in him telling the guy no and just kind of leaving him at his at that house. So I think he did do the right thing, but I think I don't really think it was for like kind of noble or selfless purposes. I still think that he had the safety of Ellie in the forefront of his mind, like he did at the end of last season. Because I think a lot of his decisions when it comes to Ellie aren't for anyone but himself, really.
So you don't think that the hive mind would have known the location of Jackson and they would all died?
I do think I keep losing my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But also, I wasn't even thinking the hive mind. I was also like, if you bring this guy and he starts to change in front of his wife, what's the wife going to do? You know, and her being a doctor, so she's important to the village. Is she going to be like, take me too? Or
what would even happen if say he was allowed back?
Yeah. You know, I mean, there's the hive mind thing for sure, but then also it's like, well, what if he just gets loose? You know what I mean? Like, how many people can one zombie infect? You know, it's
he also didn't have to do that, bring him all the way to the place, because it's been far enough.
And have Ellie go bring her there, right?
Yeah,
bring her to him. Yeah,
and that's a choice too. But Joel is not risking, and I think this actually stands with what Brandman was saying. It actually does stand to a point where he's still protecting Ellie and also the rest of the town, because you're not responsible for all those other people, that the population of Jackson. Yeah. So, regardless, he takes Eugene. He brings it to this beautiful spot. Eugene figures out, like, oh, you brought me to this beautiful scene, so you can kill me since the last thing I had to see. Joel says, don't turn around. It makes it a lot easier on me. And Eugene's like, I'm not making it easy on you. I want to see my wife. And he said, you tell me what last words you want me to tell that you said. He said, I don't want to tell any last words. I want her to tell me. I want to hear her voice one last time. I want that. I want her. You know, even if it's just hearing her and knowing what's going on. That's what I need. And
that's rough. You're like, damn.
Yeah.
Not much I can say.
You've been together 25, 30 years. I mean, does that not make perfect sense? You know, Joel already had his mind made up what he was going to do. That was a beautiful scene, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
Don't let me live over there. I'll I see it one time. This is my new house. This is where I'm at.
Build it right there.
It's actually the same scene from Supernatural, so you know, it's in Canada too.
So you know,
yeah. Whatever. You guys have it's not populated. I know that much. How about that? Because Canada is not populated. Might be lies. But what Joe literally like he's really questioning the entire time if he made the right decision or not. And it was hard to watch, honestly. He made that decision. And I think that they did a great job when it's shooting him, not showing anything because it's too emotionally impacting. So just kind of cutting away and seeing the birds kind of fly up was huge. I think that was such a great job overall. And once again, another good job by the people, HBO, for doing it that way.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I think it's crazy where like he's a fairly big enough actor, you know. Granted, he's not like a superstar, but somebody of his level just to be like, oh yeah, I'll play this role for like 5 minutes, you know, if that, you know, in the show, you know, this shows how popular the show is, where actors like even like their dad with Tony Dalton, like coming in and be like, yeah, like I'll do this one thing just because I want to be part of the show so much, you know.
Right.
Yep.
You know, and then him being, I think he's a pretty good actor. He's, you know, got a pretty good range of stuff. So, yeah.
Am I wrong for never forgiving him because he was Cypher?
Yeah, I know. Like,
oh no, I get it. I definitely get that.
So I was like, Judas, you Judas.
Yeah. Eat your steak and die.
Exactly. Hope you enjoy your bliss. So yeah, no. All right, let's look at what some of the comments you guys have. That the Dan says my pop is not letting me move into his garage. That's his garage. Get the hell out of here. Like says Brandon, I will send you all 3 of the apps where you can scan every movie you have or type it in and keep track of how many movies you actually own. I just write it down. So right now, but I definitely use it.
I'd take it. I have a notebook for mine, but yeah, if you're offering.
So the song Joe played was by Pearl Jam. Yeah, subtitle on.
Yeah. Nice.
So I'm too far ahead. No, we got you, man. So Joe just needs to stop saying I swear and I promise to Ellie.
Yeah.
He wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
So the Hive Mind just had a battle with them. They know where Jackson is, though. No. So this is before that happened.
Yeah. This is all a flashback.
Yeah.
So this is way before the Hive Mind. But this is what would have happened if the Hive Mind did know what happened. All these people were in Jackson. What we just saw that last episode or 2 episodes ago was what happened, or 3 episodes ago, 4 episodes ago. Man, good Lord,
it's flying by.
Just 2. Sully says, arguably the best episode of the season. Even though I love part 2 of the game and the stories it tells, I'm actually really missing Pedro in this show. So much better when he's around.
He's a good actor, man.
He's a great actor.
Really good actor.
He's a great actor. He's been great in this role so far.
Stars carry these series, man.
Yeah.
This is just just proves my point where I'm saying when I think yes, it has to be Abby has to be the focal point, but you stars are the ones that you designate as stars have to be in the series. Mama Bear says even I know in a zombie apocalypse, if someone gets bit, they get rid of the old yellow treatment. Yeah, they get the old yellow treatment.
Yep.
Dr. Dan says, "Oh yeah, you're right about the flashbacks. Hey, they were all right about the flashbacks because I did not want it to be a flashback. I wanted to be 15 minutes of a little story pushing, but no, it wasn't meant to be." All right, we see the calming water, and we see Ellie kind of come down as Joel is just kind of sad that this happened. That he had to do this to Eugene. You hear the horse come up, and as she's riding, she realizes what he did. And you can see it, she'll never forgive him. She's just so like, you promised to me.
Angry.
Yep. And she's getting more and more upset as they're riding back to town. And Joe says, I had to do this. They're dragging Eugene's body. She's just like stone faced, like, oh, this motherfucker lied to me. And I've seen that face before. Where have I seen that face before? And then they have all this time to sit there and think about it. And you can see how Ellie is just more and more upset. And while they're doing that, he's saying, I had no choice. He's telling her what the plan is going to be. And Joel's not sure how she's taking it, but no, it's not good. He knows that much.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
Yeah. They get to the settlement. They bring his wife over. The doctor come over. He tells her this wonderful story, saying, he wanted to let you know his last words. He loves you, and that he was bit when we found him, and he just wanted to tell you he loved you, and he wanted to be brave, and he was brave all the way to the end. And it was a great story. Made her feel like she was, totally loved, to a point where he didn't want to put anyone in danger, and she's hugging Joel for this story. And while she's hugging Joel, Ellie had to open her big, fat, stupid teenage mouth, saying, "That's all a lie. He wanted to come here. Yeah, he wanted to come see you one last time." And Joe shot him in the face because he's stupid and ugly, and I hate him. Like a petulant child that she really was.
Yeah.
And saying that right there. Say, he begged to see you one last time, and Joe promised he was going to do it, and then he just shot him. And I hate him so much. He's so mean. Like, you know what? Shut the hell up, kid.
Man. I got so pissed, man, when she opened up her mouth.
Yep, me too.
But it's kind of what Collector said. He said you see her age there. Just you don't do that. That's the wrong thing. You never do that.
Yeah. Because like Ellie's calling him selfish, later on about this, calling him selfish. It's like, oh, you just did it because you wanted to look good. But it was like, no, in turn, it's like, you're selfish. Like, you can't handle like what needs to be said because you don't know how to handle it, because like you're in this weird mindset of like, oh, the truth. You have to tell me the truth, and how you felt for what Joe did for you. Like now you ruined somebody's life, because now for forever, the doctor is going to be effed up.
Yeah.
Maria says Joel shouldn't have had lied to her. Like that, Ellie. She says Ellie was in the right.
I disagree.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with that.
I don't think I agree either. I think that Joel dealing with Eugene and his wife, I think that he was right to try to give her a great lasting memory, because what she did is plant the seed of all this alcohol drinking. That's what Ellie did, and he recognizes that. She thinks it's only for himself, but it's not just for him; it's for her too.
It's for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you stole that away from her, the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's the same thing in real world, like, especially in like wartime, in like, World War II, Vietnam War and stuff like that. How many like family members had to be told like, oh, your son died, like, and you don't know how exactly, but but they tell you like, brave and this stuff, because that's what you need to hear. You like you don't know what happened, so you just got to go off of what they say, and you need to hear that, Like if you hear like something bad, like they killed themselves, or they're stupid and they shot themselves, because they got drunk or some shit. I don't know, like it's like they don't need to hear that, like they need to hear the thing that's going to allow them to keep going and allow them to survive.
Move on. Surviving
in this kind of world,
apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
Since Joel is down to lie, he should have pulled one more and said, "Dude's hand started shaking." Right? It's okay because Ellie would have said, "No, it didn't." You stupid man. You a liar. Mean. Like, what the hell, man? I was so pissed off with her. Like that made no sense. And you ruined two people's lives because of you. Nothing to do with her.
Yeah, it's because she was selfish. Like she wanted the truth, but it's a different situation.
Get stitches, guys.
Facts.
Amanda says Ellie snitched big time.
Snitches end up in ditches.
All right, so we see that she looked at him. You said you swore, and then kind of walks off. So now we get a chance to fast forward back to 9 months later. This is back to that night. We see
New Year's Eve.
At the party where you see Ellie talking to Jesse, and then looking at Dina, and then her Dina dancing, and then Joel sees them kiss, and going through all that stuff, and once again see the guy come in and say this is a family event and all that stuff, and calls them the D word, and Joel comes in and pushes the hell out of him with like a father push that any other father would have done. There's not a father on the planet that would have done the same thing.
Because it was a push, right? Not like a punch. Right?
No, it was a cold push. Yeah.
For me, it's like, hey, I don't want to hurt you, Seth, but I'm gonna let you know you fucked up. Because he could have came in and like popped him in the face and like broke his eye, like easily. So.
Yeah.
And what you see is that Joel's getting more and more unhappy, all because of Ellie. It's all her fault. Blame her. Blame your kid. They're the reason. You were young and fun before them. It's their fault.
Like, I like when you were cool.
Exactly. It's so funny when his nephew said, goodbye, Uncle Grumpy.
Yeah.
But what Tommy goes takes him away once again. See Seth come after them. Joel does what he does. We all seen it multiple times. Yep. Ellie comes and says, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Makes him feel worse about himself again, just ruining his self-esteem. Because you know what happens? You get older, you don't have problems. You don't feel bad about these things, huh? You don't have feelings anymore. So you like anything. Such a fucking asshole.
It's true.
You think because he has gray hair, he doesn't feel anything. He doesn't have any feelings anymore. Fuck you. And that's another thing that when we talked about, when Shifty was talking about earlier, her not being mature enough, being so childish that she doesn't see those things. So, see the same scene that we saw before with Ellie looking at him from far away and then walking off. And now we get into the way, it happens in the game. She comes back, starts talking to him. Joel's talking to her about the guitar, all the stuff. And then she starts asking him real questions. She's like, look, you had that same look in your eye when you killed Eugene and said that, you promised me. So no more lies. You must tell me the truth. And then she started asking what happened to Jackson. Says Were they really raiders? He says, no. Did you kill all of them? Mm-mm. He's like, yeah. Why did you kill them? Was it a chance that they had a cure? He says, yeah.
Oh.
Which he doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, imagine if they did have it.
I mean, there was a chance. Like, there's a chance it could have been a cure. Like, sure, there's a chance. Well, she was asking, was there other immune? Because she thought there was other immune.
Yeah. He says, no. It's only you.
Yeah. But also, like, you're saying, like, he said no, but he doesn't say anything. He just nods his head yes and no, which is just so. And his eyes are just fucking, super soakers at this point because they are just glossed up, watery, and oh man, that was damn, that was rough.
But it's funny because here she says it's the same fucking look, but I knew already. I already knew, and this is you confirming with me. And then she says basically, so he gave you the one chance to ask him all the questions. He admits he killed everybody. And she said, I don't think I could ever forgive you for this. And then, but she says, but I'll try. And then it occurred to me, this is right the night before Jesse comes to her and says, what's going on with you and Joel? And she's like, look, I'm probably gonna go on some patrol out with him. Don't understand. Joel is still Joel. I'm still me. We're still us. No matter what's going on, that's just a fact. And now you understand, gives you context to why, she said all that, and makes you even feel even worse about what she saw with Joel and seeing him getting killed right in front of her face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I think it took away a little bit because I said like this scene is one of the last scenes in the game, so the entire game you're thinking the last thing she told Joel was fuck off, like and then the whole game you're thinking that, and then you find out where like, oh, she's mad, but they're trying to fix things, then you find that out, you find out here, I don't know, it's just too early, I think. Wrong, like the placement of it doesn't feel as satisfying as it did in the game.
I agree. I agree with you, but I always thought that they were going to go a different route. They're not going to go shot for shot for the game, especially with a game that they don't think ever is going to get an ending.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is it. The second game is the ending. That's how it ends. Yeah.
I mean, once again, it's just what we think, but the writer talks about he's going to finish it and they're not going to finish it, go back and forth. So I think they come up with a different answer. They come up with a different ending, which is going to piss a lot of people off. I still say that it's going to piss a lot of people off. And I think the most important thing that they've seen in this scene is that Joel says, if I had my chance to do this all over again, I would.
Yeah.
And she says, because you're fucking selfish. And he says, maybe, but it's mostly because I love you. And
when he gets into that, yeah, I love you in a way you don't even understand. I was like, damn.
Yeah. And then he got back to his father. Says, well, I hope one day, hopefully, maybe you don't have him, maybe you will have a child. And when you have that child and you're raising that child, hopefully you do it better than me. Once again, that generational trauma, re-emerging again. I don't care. This was a good ass episode.
Oh, 100%.
It really was.
Really was. I understand why we don't want to see this scene, but that is a good way to do an episode.
Yeah. Bridge the gap between seasons, and Relita and James's their interactions and relationship. That was something that I kind of wanted to see at least a little bit of. So I'm happy this most of this episode was a flashback. You know, it just kind of it just kind of further justified her going for revenge. You know, it's not.
So, did you guys are you guys upset that they show back in modern times her just walking off from the place, from the hospital? They didn't go over how she got out of the hospital or anything like that. She just walked to the theater.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that they missed out on a great opportunity in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that was the whole thing. That was the entire thing we saw.
Yeah. Well, the non-flashback part at the end, it didn't flow with the end of the flashback, you know, with the porch scene, you know. So it was like, I'm like, why did you do that? You didn't even transition it to what's happening with Ellie at that moment correctly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, that was my big issue too. It was like you did this really impactful moment and then it was followed up by just like, and back to the killing. I was like, what? You know, it was like,
what'd you want her to do? Would you like her to have that conversation with Dina?
I don't know. But that's why it was placed in such a weird position or weird part of the story. You know, like you put it in the middle of Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So yeah, I don't know. Especially after what she just did to what's her name? You know, in the basement. You know, beat her to death with a damn pole as she was turning into a zombie. Yeah.
So do you think the last episode could be to show us how she got out?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. Like she's already out. I think they'll just keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Then you talk about another flashback?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nah, they'll probably just keep it going.
All right. That being said, so that was basically the entire episode. What were your feelings overall? Since we, you know, kind of watched everything, talked about all the stuff. What do you rate it? I'm not gonna ask you feelings. We kind of talked about our feelings. How would you rate this episode as a penultimate episode?
Who wants to go first?
It's as an episode, it was good, but again, like I said, as the second to last episode, it just doesn't fit for me. So I don't know. I'm gonna give it a C for that reason only.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I'd give it a solid B. I think maybe at the absolute worst, they could have moved the flashback up an episode or two. But I like that it kind of because I was kind of even as a player of the games, I was kind of wondering if they would take care of you know, any interaction between Joel and Ellie before the narrative of the show kicked in. So I was happy to see that, how he was really kind of like raising her and being an overprotective dad. I liked the acting, and so yeah, I'd give it a solid B if I had to give it a letter grade.
For I mean, for me, as an episode, as just the episode itself, man, it's probably like an A, because it's definitely one of the best of the season. But as a penultimate, I gotta probably drop it down to like maybe like a B plus. But as the episode like itself, just it was damn, you know, very, very good. You know, and you didn't have like any action, you know, it was all dialogue and acting, you know, and it was good.
It was good, but I still think episode 2 was better.
I do too. Yeah, I think that one's the best of it. Yeah. This one's probably it's up there,
Second
number
best,
2, second best. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. Just because the second episode was very emotional. Like, man, that was hard. Here you're dealing with the effects, or some of the other emotions left over from that episode. But
agreed.
But I just wish it wasn't the penultimate, and that's why I would drop it down a little bit, because it just doesn't feel in the right spot.
Same here.
No, I'm with you. I think as an episode, this is an A episode. As a penultimate episode, it's a B minus. If this was the third to last episode, I'll be talking about A all day. I'll say this is the second best episode I saw, period, in this entire season.
Yeah.
But because of the penultimate, I'm like, dude, I don't think that's a good penultimate. But it's obvious that this is really, it's giving me a feeling of Daredevil.
The Born Again. Yeah.
This is not really a penultimate because it's only part 1 of a full season.
Yeah. It was like season 2, part 1. And then we get season 2, part 2 next year.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think that's a great way to do in a series. But if you're going to do it, you lose a little bit. So,
yeah.
Fernando says I give it an A minus.
Nice.
Collector says I give it an A minus.
Of course.
Maria says Joel denied everyone a cure Ellie wanted to give her life to save the world. How is Joel in the right? Because she was 14 years old and she doesn't get to make that decision.
Yeah, great. And it's exactly what he says. He's like, one day if you ever become a parent, you understand. And I know it's super cliche, but me being fresh a dad, like less than 3 years in, like, I don't care what the fuck like fuck the world. If the world means I need to kill, my kids need to die.
Oh, 100%.
Everyone needs to die. Like,
I'll probably should have put yourself in that position to be depending on my child to die. Fuck you.
Yeah. And then for Joel, this is like a double second time. Like, he couldn't do it for his first daughter, because it was just a man. So he's definitely gonna do it. So is he in the right? Yeah. I mean, but as a father, like 100%, like there's no denying him. What he did was for him, and for Ellie, but was it for the greater good and all that stuff? Yeah, probably not, but yeah.
All right, Collector has a question. It says, how do you think the season finale is going to end?
I have no idea.
Well, we kind of talked about it a little last week,
Yeah, I've always said that she's gonna be looking through her gun at Abby. We're seeing her get on and doing something else. Like, you see that. I've always thought that's how it's gonna end.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's with them leaving Seattle. We'll see how that works out though. But then Abby there, I think, because I think like it needs to set up. Okay, now we need to start talking about Abby a little bit, because
exactly
she's got a lot of emotional baggage, that we haven't got into yet.
So I really like this episode, but just to keep Joel around, I wish he kind of would have spread these flashbacks all around on the seasons. A great actor like that, we all thought that was what's going to happen.
We did.
So I'm trying to remember what happened in the game, but how many sections they go through. I know she kills but we're not going to see that. Sorry. To that, we're not.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, she does kill the lady in the basement.
But I know how far it's going to go. I didn't know. And then Appy, I don't want to read the rest of that.
Yeah. So he didn't spoil anything.
The next one would.
Yeah.
If someone tells me my daughter has to die to save the world, I'm going to say they got bit.
They got bit.
Shoot them in the face.
Yeah.
Maria has a good question though. Is Abby still wrong for killing Joel?
So for me personally, I don't think she was ever wrong for killing Joe, but I do think her motivation, maybe her reasoning, besides like he killed my dad, they haven't touched in it in the show where they touch it in the game. So I don't know. I don't really want to talk about that yet, but just as of right now, I was like, I don't think she's wrong, but she's definitely obsessed. And I think the way she went about it was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I just think the trauma that she experienced is real, right?
Mm-hmm.
And made her do something. But then to create another monster by trying to get your revenge is a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And you literally did. How you gonna be mad at someone else for doing something that you just did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of ruins the whole, avenging your father when you create another monster the same way. And Joel did it because he's trying to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
You did just revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the real monster? Everyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because if the first game is about love, like him loving his daughter, him finding this new daughter and loving her and protecting her because he loves her, the second game is nothing but hate. This person's doing all the decisions, in the second game, is all based on hate, and revenge, and so yeah. So very, very different reasoning.
Do you think we'll get any of Abby in the season finale? Well, I actually have something pulled up that we could talk about right now. Let's watch. Do that fast. Let's watch this preview for next season.
The finale.
Finale for this. So, all right, here we go.
Today is the day when it all ends.
Get on the ground!
And it won't be a good ending.
By the time the sun comes up tomorrow, there's a very good chance you'll be dead.
And what does all this mean?
Death, if you believe in that shit.
I want you to know that no matter what happens, I will always be with you.
Hold up.
That doesn't make right. That's not what I saw before. I don't like that. That's not the one I saw before.
Hold on.
That is not the trailer I saw before.
There was something in
it looked like a video game.
Yeah.
That's not the one. I promise you that's not the one.
Because this is all clips of stuff that's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is that the video game?
That is the video game. Right there.
Yeah, but it's more AI, I would say, because that looks like Bella Ramsey. And that looks like what's her name? So, but that's a fake image. That's not a real image.
That's not the one because I saw the preview and that's
okay. Yeah, I was like,
so that's what I'm saying. I saw the preview.
We're a long way before that part.
We got a minute, huh?
Yeah,
a
year and a half.
I watched the preview. That's not the preview.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, that's all just stuff that's already happened in the show. Which, I mean, they've done that before, but it's not really a preview, though.
No, because the preview starts with Dina and Ellie. That's why I know It starts.
Was that from Max or was that from somewhere else?
It said Max, but no, it's definitely not, because I mean I saw it. I know I saw this thing. So
yeah, because when I saw that image, I was like, wait a minute.
Put the wrong one up. Let's try this one more time.
We said, yeah, there were scenes from other episodes in there. Yeah, even like fake scenes. I guess we get more Pedro. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was like, "There's no." I'm watching. I'm like, "This is not what I saw." All right, here we go. This should be right.
It's for good luck.
These people are shooting each other, ripping each other's guts out. I am not dying out here. This is not our war.
Okay. It's a good little teaser preview.
That is what I saw.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait a minute. I watched all this before. That didn't happen. So talking about the fact that they're in the middle of a war. Jesse saying, "I'm not dying out here." Okay. Got Isaac doing his thing. They really didn't show a lot about the episode in this.
No. Yeah.
See if I can watch this one more time. See them just trying to survive. Her pulling one out of the water, one of them seeing her. You know who she's aiming at, right? That's why I think that how they're ending it. And then we're going away. That's interesting. What do you think about that, guys?
Seems all right. We'll see what happens. Looks like it's going to be a good finale.
It's gonna be a lot of shit happening. I feel like they're doing too much in one episode.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I don't know if they're gonna make it longer than most of the other episodes, but I hope they don't speed through the wrap up of it. You know, so I'm curious to see above all else how they approach it.
So that boat scene is where she goes to the aquarium. So yeah, that's almost like halfway through the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's still a lot of story left.
Did anyone knows that there wasn't any Tommy?
Yeah, no Tommy
at all. Maybe. Never mind, I'm not gonna say that. I'll talk about it later. But it's possible that Tommy's gonna have something to do with the ending of this. Of this episode.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%.
So. Halfway through it, and at the season finale, enjoyed it, guys. Right? This is fun. It was, not a great penultimate. They could have put another episode in there, but whatever, they didn't. So we're gonna be at this finale, and this is gonna be the end of season 2. So now we gotta wait another year and a half to get to the final.
Yep.
Final season, but
potentially longer. Let's not go there.
Why you got rain on my parade, man? Why you got rain on my parade?
Yeah.
I'm not rating on the parade. HBO Max is taking forever to produce.
So why you rain on me? It's like, wait a minute, that's not rain. So I don't know. I'm excited for the finale. I wonder what they're gonna do. As I said, they've been changing everything consistently, so we have no idea exactly how they're going to end it. But I know where I think they're going to. This is where it's going to stop. I think I know that.
Yeah, it's getting to a point, because like Collector said, like we get the aquarium, thing going on, so yeah.
So yeah, she's supposed to kill 2 more people before she even goes to the aquarium. They're going to fast forward through a lot of stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if they change stuff. Dina, I guarantee you, it's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be about 2 more years. We'll have to wait. Dude, that's 2027. That's a long time. He does have a rainbow. I'll say it again. Mobland is the best TV show on TV.
Nice.
All right, guys. I mean, that was a lot of fun. We kind of went through the entire episode, talked about a lot of different things. Thank you all for being in the comments. Anything you got? Anyone of you guys want to say before we get out of here?
Nope. Thanks for having me, guys. It was fun as always.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you coming, man.
Oh,
I know
pleasure.
For Anzo, it's 1:20 in the morning. For Brandman, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning because he's exhausted because he wakes up at 5. For me and Tank, we'll probably still be up here for another hour. So
yeah, probably
that's what's going to happen. But I just want to thank you guys for being here with us and spending time with us, and for all your comments. And I can't wait to go through this season finale. Hopefully more people could join us on this watch party on Sunday. We're still doing it on Bigger for Entertainment. That's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be the last one. So join us. I'll post it in our groups and kind of get you guys going. But I want you guys to be there so we can watch it together and then we can talk about it together.
Absolutely.
And then we'll be back here on Monday doing the season finale of Last of Us Season 2. And having a lot of good times and still talking to you guys just like that. And please join us on Thursday and Saturday as we go through our regular shows, still talking about the movies, getting ready for Mission Impossible, getting ready for
Lilo and
Stitch, having fun with all those, and then talk about how great Final Destination might really be.
Also, watch Murderbot. First 2 episodes are out. I think Friday the 3rd episode comes out. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like
I've seen it on there.
You told me on that, so I'm going to start watching that.
So Skarsgård. I mean,
yeah.
When do they ever fail?
Yeah, seriously.
Crow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, true. We don't talk about that one. I see Maria's.
Yeah, that's a good question. Do y'all believe Daniel Day-Lewis is going to play Magneto, or are they just rumors?
That's a wild rumor. That's a wild rumor.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think so. The dude was retired. He's only coming out of retirement to do his son's movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him coming back into like acting, especially as in the MCU.
Yeah, and those aren't the type of movies he does.
Yeah. But if he does, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I just don't think they're figuring out who's going to be Magneto yet.
Yeah, there's no way in hell Daniel Day-Lewis would agree to it.
Yeah,
there's no way.
I don't see it happening.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way. He'd probably laugh in Kevin Feige's face.
No, I could see him even saying possibly people do it. Kevin Feige could get an interview and talk to anyone. Kevin Feige is that respected among a lot of people. There's no doubt in my mind that Feige could get him a meeting.
Oh, I can't see Daniel Day-Lewis agreeing to speak with him.
I don't think. Why not? Kevin Feige is one of the biggest producers ever.
Yeah, but Daniel Day-Lewis is probably one of the best actors ever.
Doesn't mean he's still one of the biggest producers that everyone. I think he gets a meeting with anyone. No one's going to disrespect him. I don't think that's the point. I just don't think that you even cast that right now. You're still doing Doomsday. You still Ian. McCullough. You still have the first guy, Ian McCullough. Yeah. Like, there's no point to doing that yet. You know, maybe you're looking forward because he's looking 10 years ahead, and maybe he is. Maybe he did talk to him, but there's no reason for him to say yes. There's no reason to say anything because they're so far away. So, well, we'll argue all this stuff.
Yeah,
it's already late enough. We'll talk about it then. Appreciate Anzo for being here, of course, and thank you guys for being here. And we'll see you guys on Thursday.
See you guys.
Peace.
Maybe if you guys can close it because my thing will map. Do it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.